Hello, my name is Jamie Ness, and I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the topic of whether or not language development is directly influenced by parental input. First, it's important to know the history of language in children. Every known society, even that of an isolated one, has its own language, and thus linguists have deemed it to be essential to nature. Since we know that all normal children raised in a culture with a human language develop that language, a few questions arise. Do children learn language from their parents and caregivers? Do children with different languages and cultures learn language differently? And what role does the environment play in language learning? These are just a few of the questions linguists have explored in their research. The ability of a child to learn language is quite phenomenal when really considered. Think about it. By the time the child is learning to walk, they have already spoken their first words and can comprehend about 50. The average 3-year-old has the capacity to do what most of our computers can't, and that is to use language to communicate with others. A really fun and interesting example of this is the language known as Pig Latin. Children develop this language as a fun way to communicate, but don't even realize all of the language skills they use in order to form those words. When considering how big a role a parent plays in the development of language in their child, there are two types of teaching to consider: overt, which is directly teaching and correcting a child's grammar, and covert, which is the subtle, unconscious behaviors of their parents. When studied, it has been found that overt teaching does not really affect the rate at which a child develops language. A funny example of overt teaching is when a child says, "Nobody don't like me," and his father tries to correct him. The child says, "Nobody don't like me," and the father says, "No, say, nobody likes me." The child says, "Okay, nobody don't like me." And the father says, "No, you say, nobody likes me." The child keeps repeating, "Nobody don't like me," and as the father continues to get more exasperated, he says, "No, now listen carefully. Say, nobody likes me." The child gets really excited and says, "Oh, nobody don't like me." This is an example of how overt teaching does not really work and is generally ignored by the child. Hi, Hayden.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
How old are you?
3.
How old? 3. Good job. What'd you do today?
Go to I's house.
You were at your Grandma Emily's house?
Mm-hmm.
And what'd you do there?
Play toys.
Play with toys? What kind of toys?
The giraffe, the jeep.
The giraffe and the jeep.
And that's it.
Did you go swimming?
Hmm?
Was it a good day?
Yes.
Yeah? Alright. Now what do you want to go do?
Go downstairs.
Go downstairs? Alright. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye, Mommy.
As the research continued, there was much support that parental input does not play a role in the language acquisition process. When a child says a sentence with grammatical errors, a parent usually continues the conversation and does not correct the error. This is because the parent knows that as the child grows, their grammar will automatically correct itself. A really common form of speech which parents talk to their children with is called motherese. This is commonly known as baby talk and includes a lot of repetition and adding "e" to the end of a word, such as horsey. Though many parents chat with their babies hoping to help them acquire language sooner, it has been found that the children of parents who spend much of their time making enough money to buy food do not attain a level of language knowledge which is distinct in any manner from the children of parents who spend much of their time chatting with their babies. Motherese, however, is still very common in our society. In fact, here's a clip of me doing just that. Hi! You say something. Why am I shirtless? Good. Oh, hello. Hello.
Mm.
Hello. Hello.
Mm.
Where's mommy? Peekaboo. Where's mommy? Peekaboo. Okay, now you want to watch it back? Say bye-bye. Wait, bye-bye. Okay. Bye. The next clip shows how children learn both language and life skills through imitation. So, what do you do in your free time, Tayden? Oh, really? How does that work? Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Gotta take a phone call. Hello? So anyways, how's your day been? Oh, okay. The stages of language acquisition. Though children come to them at their own timing, every normal child experiences the same stages of language acquisition. When they are newborns, they are in stage 1, which is vocalization. This includes crying, coughing, sucking, swallowing, and burping. At 2 to 4 months, cooing begins. These are known as comfort sounds in response to pleasurable interaction with a caregiver. Laughter usually appears around 4 months of age. By age 4 to 7 months, vocal play ensues, which includes manipulating pitch, loudness, and manipulating tract closures to produce friction noises, nasal murmurs, raspberries, and snorts. When a baby is about 7 months, babbling begins to appear. Repeated sequences are often used and produced, such as baba or nana. Next from babbling is the one-word stage. This is when recognizable words are formed and repeated. During the second year is when children generally begin to rapidly acquire new words.
Hayden. 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 Say Hayden. Say breakfast.
Now that the child has so many words in their vocabulary, they begin to start putting them together and enter the two-word stage at about 2 years old. If their shirt is wet, they say, "Shirt wet," and begin communicating in this manner. Later on in their second year, children learn how to use auxiliary verbs and enter into the multi-word stage. Now that they can form full ideas, their sentences gradually become longer and longer. Though children learn many things from their parents and caregivers, a parent's effort to make them learn language will not speed up the process. Normal children will learn the language that they are surrounded in at their own time. Whether a parent spends their time chatting or using motherese, their child still ends up developing the same language skills as a child with a parent who does not spend their time talking with them. It has been really interesting getting to learn about the way in which children acquire language. Every language is so complex, and yet it is a natural instinct that we have to acquire it. I have had the pleasure of watching my son learn English, and now I know the specifics as to how he learned it.